Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to the latest edition of the 2300 Pod. Nate Maxon here with you, your host, and of course I'm joined by my brother Aaron.
Hey.
And Mr. Chad Austin from ECW. Chad, welcome to this week's edition of the show once again.
Word up, guys.
We are exploring this week the episode from May 4th of 1993 of ECW. It's a doozy. We definitely might have to put some lipstick on this pig, but
is the word doozy, how many times has that been thrown around in the short life of this podcast?
I think every week. It's going to be the doozy pod for the first 6 months. The What a Doozy Pod, reliving early ECW. Before we start talking about the show we watched, though, this week, I had a question for you guys. On the social medias today, I saw this thing, and I just thought it'd be an interesting question to ask, because I had an answer immediately. But I saw a meme that said, if the year 2020 was an alcoholic beverage, what would it be? And the first thing that came to my mind was, the year 2020 is a Four Loko. Do you ever have one of those god-awful things?
No.
No.
Oh, so you're going with the route that it's got to be bad.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have to be bad. If you've loved it, you can make it a Jack and Coke. But
no, I haven't loved it. I would probably say Hennessy.
Tequila.
Oof.
Oh, come on, man. I'll take me some tequila.
I know, but after you're done with it, you feel like shit, you know?
Tequila is an evil mistress.
I never get hangovers, man. I haven't had one.
I don't either unless I'm doing tequila. Tequila fucks me up, man.
I just never do. I never know what it's like to wake up in the morning and be all, I just keep going.
Just keep plugging.
I keep making the towns, brother.
Aaron and I are in retail, so we keep making those towns too. You just got to keep on going.
You keep making them sales.
Yes, making them sales. Bags under the eyes or not, we're troopering in there. So
at this point, are we talking about? Are we expecting this to be out of the Cabrini College?
Well, see, I thought that's where we were headed last week. I felt that way, and then when I turned the show on, there's my friends Sully and Stevie, and we're still in Cabrini.
Yeah, this is like I told Chad before we started recording. This is the last week of it, though. I do believe, because they said the next tapings were at the ECW arena.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully we don't return to Cabrini, because this is a terrible place to have a wrestling show, it seems like.
Well, considering I'm only a few months away from debuting, I don't remember even going. I've never been there. So, no, this has to be a one and done.
I thought about looking up Cabrini College just to see. You know, is it a community college or what is it? Or is Chris Rock
qualifications of getting in there?
Or as Chris Rock said, a community college, a disco with books.
Yep.
Man. So
and
we start. Go ahead, Aaron.
I was going to say we start with Jay Sully and Stevie Wonderful, and Jay Sully looks like a fucking idiot. The yellow cover bun and tie, tie. Yellow? I've never even seen anybody wear a yellow cover bun and tie.
Wait till my wedding.
And he just looks so damp wearing that tuxedo.
Well, they both look stupid. Like, I mean, I don't mean that in like. Well, yeah, I guess I do. The way Stevie Wonderful kept shaking his head to make his hair fluff, you know, and after we all discovered that he's not even a talent, you know, he was like what did you say he was, the cameraman,
sound guy.
And the thing is, usually when somebody does something like a couple times, they get better. The guy got worse.
He's getting pretty. Yeah, I actually have in my. I have in my notes. He's progressively getting worse.
Worse.
Well, maybe he's being booked that way because apparently the end is coming really soon.
Thank God.
So, you know, maybe Gilbert's just saying, just go out there and just say this, and
just fuck off, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, like, you know, I mean, I don't even know his background. Maybe we should do a whole entire show on Jay Sully.
Stevie Wonderful looks like Diamond Dallas Page, and Oliver Humperdinck had a baby and peed on him. That's what he looks like.
Isn't that Joey Janela?
Stevie Wonderful's Joey Janela's dad.
Yeah.
Stevie Janela. All right, we've got to the root of the matter. So I know we brought up a couple of times, I think it was last week or the week before, that we were joking, obviously, where is the Cosmic Commander? So because of what I do, of course I had to dig into the Cosmic Commander a lot. And surprisingly, not a lot to find about the Cosmic Commander. But apparently he was an East Coast wrestling manager, obviously. The gimmick was supposed to be a takeoff of the Grand Wizard, and yes, Aaron, he did die in 2013 in a motorcycle accident. So
wow, didn't the Grand Wizard die in 1983?
No, I'm talking about the Cosmic Commander.
No, I'm saying, didn't the Grand Wizard die in 83?
83.
Well, he died in what?
2013.
All right, well, that's a 3.
Yeah.
That's kind of Cosmic Commander-ish.
He must not have been wearing his big hat when he crashed.
Yeah.
Beamed it off the curb, and that was it. He would have been wearing that big hat.
Do you think he had a real helmet on, but he had the other hat on over top of the helmet?
Probably would have lived then. He just would have been like Gary Busey. He'd been all right.
Right. That'd been great.
The Cosmic Busey. All right.
But don't we have this is where Todd Gordon came out and mentioned about how they showed the recap from like last week where he didn't like make Eddie Gilbert or Terry Funk tap out. They weren't going to show all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And isn't this where Todd Gordon came out and said that they got what they have an interview from Terry Funk or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we go to the Double Cross Ranch.
He also said he and Eddie Gilbert grew up together, which was weird.
Is that a shoot?
Todd Gordon, he said that him and Eddie Gilbert grew up together.
Oh, I don't have any idea about that.
It's obviously not true, but he's just said it anyway.
Where do you think Terry Funk was if this is the last taping of the Cabrini College? When was this taped? And was this taped after the tapings? And just a tape was sent in and he just inserted it? Or was it taped before? Maybe
because there's actually a couple of times in this show that I have written down that when they were producing this show, I don't think the producers had a very good, what do I want to say?
Sense of time or something?
Yeah. Like they didn't have a good continuity going on. There's a couple times in this show where it's, yeah. I know you're surprised, Aaron, but so maybe I don't know if this was maybe the reason they didn't show the video last week was because they didn't have it yet. I don't know, because if you notice last week he alluded to the fact that they were going to watch the video, and then they never did show the video.
No. And the videos, I love Terry Funk, but the video's not that good.
It's like WWE comedy.
Clyde? Come on, Clyde was classic.
This wasn't my favorite Funk moment, in my opinion.
No, clearly not.
The fart joke punchline was kind of funny, you know. you looked different, really, but your breath's exactly the same. Come on.
Yeah, it was a little bit hokey, funny, but yeah, I got it. I mean,
he should have been like, "Is that Eddie? Is that you or Hunter Q. Robbins?"
Yeah. You remember a couple shows ago where he made a reference to him? Remember that?
Yeah.
Called it, told his best thing. Yeah.
God. All right. So the promo overall, he's just describing the match, which was kind of weird because they had not yet announced that it was going to be that kind of a match or anything. So that kind of comes out of the blue. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't think that. So did we gather last week that last week was the end of the taping, or that this was going to be the end of the taping?
No, I thought last week was the end of the taping because they didn't have enough footage to fill the whole entire hour. Remember how I noted the time, but they must have saved something. Jesus, how long was this shit?
And how long did it feel?
How many shows are we on now? We're on like, what, 5 weeks already?
This is 5 weeks, yeah.
And they've been at the same Cabrini College? Jesus. Some of them kids graduated by now. This is in real time.
The kid that drew the ECW artwork has graduated since
Jeez,
so now we roll into... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was like, I mean, aren't we getting ready to talk about there's a tag team match?
Yes, it is JT Smith.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right. It is JT Smith and Glenn Osborne against Eddie Gilbert and Don Muraco. And Don looks mighty puffy in this, this match.
I mean, my pen was running out of ink when I was writing notes, but I just had to fucking find a pen to write this, where I wrote Muraco is... And here's where it comes in black Sharpie. So lazy. Like, dude, I would hate to be a job guy against Muraco in this time period, because it's like when I worked with Snuka. It was just so bad, and I could just see Muraco being the same way. Just being like he wants to hit you and expects you to lay there for an hour.
Yeah, he's just walking around.
Oh, dude, it was awful.
I've seen Abdullah the Butcher more mobile than Muraco was in this match.
It's a shame too, because Muraco is one of my favorites ever.
Well, he's definitely one of my favorite promos. And anything Muraco before probably 87 is gold. You know,
I love Muraco's. I would say in the early 80s, because I only have a few things from him from like the 70s. But his stuff in his 80s is avant-garde bumps, like a la Adrian Adonis. Mm-hmm. It's like rare bumps. You don't see guys taking bumps like that, and that's what makes it that much more special, you know. But it got to the point where it was Ric Flair in the corner spot, because you know when Morales would blow his comeback and he would come back on Muraco, eventually he was getting punched and he was going to dive through the ropes, you know, kind of spot, that kind of thing. But yeah, his ability to like come up with that stuff was fantastic. Yeah, he was a great talent back in the day, but this was just so much past his prime. I mean,
he's there for the check. That's what he's doing.
Well, I guess he was. I mean, he wasn't doing much more. I mean, Jesus.
And I put down in here like the was that supposed to be a hot tag? Because if that was the worst. When JT makes his tag to Osborne, it was the worst hot tag in the history of wrestling. It was lackluster, and then Osborne's come in and come back was the most lackluster.
He tried to get people. He tried to do the get everybody fired up thing, and they were just looking at him.
Yeah, it's like Mick Foley says in his book about his car. I tried to fire the mother up, and the mother wouldn't fire.
Yeah, these people.
I just wrote, huh? Tag, like, because I didn't know if that was the hot tag or not.
That's exactly. Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like, well, this match must be a lot longer because there's no way that's the hot tag. But sure enough,
didn't Paul Lee like come in like right around there?
Yeah, it was maybe a minute and a half after that when Paul Lee comes in.
And I'll say this though, I mean, for everything that's bad about this match, JT Smith, man, that dude can take a hell of an ass kicking.
Yep,
I think
he's a salesman.
Yeah, dude, JT, I've always had great praise for JT, and when I hear him on shoots, he talks pretty decent about me because we never had any cross things. But like I said a few weeks ago, that guy shouldn't be doing acrobatic maneuvers like he does. You know, because you've seen it. He would have never been that guy in the FBI,
right?
That he falls off the top rope had he not done it previously before.
For real, is it easy to say though if this was one TV taping? Okay, if we've asserted that this was one whole, like all of this is one night. At this point, he's probably the hardest worker in the promotion, isn't he? I mean, from everything we've seen.
No, I think Jay Sully is. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, as
many wardrobe changes and everything for Jay Sully. He's putting in the work.
I mean, you also got to consider, I would say, Glenn Osborne as well. Like Glenn Osborne's been on every single show, and he's been in a higher profile match. I would just say.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I wanted to say about the tag team match is about Glenn Osborne is that he didn't want to bury Glenn Osborne. That's why he had Paul E run in during that finish. Because how many times in the past couple of weeks has Glenn been buried, but they put him over as being the top,
Yeah.
I guess you would say babyface. So yeah, he took care of him in that finish.
And unfortunately, we didn't get to hear a fired up promo by Mr. Osborne. Grr. But we did get a promo from Paulie after the making his ECW debut here after the match. I guess this is a significant point in the history of ECW. Paulie Dangerously's first appearance, and he has to make lemons into lemonade with this promo describing his little unit that he's got there. But what do you guys think?
He said he was going to put ECW out of business. It took him 7 years, but he did it.
Dude, that's exactly what I wrote. I said, Paulie saying he's going to put ECW out of business. Oh, my God.
It took him 7 years.
I didn't know how many years it was, but yeah, I was just like, oh, my God. He is Nostradamus.
That's the longest wait for a heel to make do on his promise ever in the history of wrestling, I guess.
And nobody ever capitalized on it. Nobody ever used it. Like, why couldn't Retribution use it? And how the fuck are they on the draft?
Yeah, and why do they have contracts? It's so stupid.
Yeah, I want Retribution to come over to my company and fuck shit up. Just, what the fuck? But anyway, Paulie
and two times during this, Jay Sully calls him Paul E. Dangerous.
Paul E. Dangerous. Yes, I have that written down too. Paul E. Dangerous.
I just thought that was tremendous because I don't know when the first time you guys got cell phones. And I know when the first time I got cell phones, and I know the first time that I've seen cell phones was way after Paulie is carrying around that home cordless phone.
Mm-hmm.
That he must have had to come take the station part and plug it into the back of the arena, like everywhere he goes, because it's not a cellular phone; it's just a cordless phone.
Yes, it's just a cordless phone.
He can get reception. That's unbelievable, and he was carrying that back in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I think technically,
the only person that had cell phones back in the 80s was Heart and Heart. Heart to Heart.
Zach Morris had one.
Oh, that was 90s though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But damn, Paulie, man, what the hell?
I think the first cell phone, I guess, in my life was me and Aaron's mom had one of those, the bag car phone. Remember the car phone in the bag? Yeah. She had one of those big fuckers that we lugged around everywhere. But
I remember I was traveling with Ian Rotten one time. We were going from Baltimore to, I think, Indianapolis somewhere, or Evansville or whatever. And it was the first time we'd been on a plane that had a cell phone. And Ian was like, hey, I'm going to call Axel. And the lady was like, it's like $32 a minute or something. And he goes, well, I'm just going to call and say hi. And the next thing you know, he's on the phone going, yeah, we're going to be in this town tonight. And then I forgot what his bill was, but he was just like, what the fuck? Like, Jesus Christ.
It's just like you never open the mini bar in the hotel room, hidden.
Oh, no. I always have money for that.
So the next thing is a promo from Hunter Q. Robbins. Right after Paulie's promo, we go into Hunter Q. Robbins. It's like the best
at least there wasn't a Homer and Bart Simpson reference.
At least there wasn't
the best
Homer
of times and the worst of times right now. Jesus Christ.
This will be your last shot at the tag team championship.
Yeah, that angle. I mean, we'll talk about where it's going, I guess, in a few minutes. But man, there's a lot you could do with that angle. They just did it way too fast, man. That's an angle you could drag out, and I don't know why. I don't know whether it's just they want to get rid of the Super D's or Hunter or it's Stetson and fucking winners. Why can't they have the winner and the loser of the match leaves town?
And loses their hair. And Hunter gets a breath mint. All these stipulations wrapped up in one. Certs on a pole.
Get rid of them all.
And then did you guys notice the upside down promotion here? Because during the interview, Hunter says that this will be Winters and Stetson's last title match, but then during the match, Stevie Wonderful says this is going to be Winters and Stetson's last title match. You heard it here first. That's what I'm saying. Like it's like I don't know. You heard it. I just heard it about 2 minutes ago.
I think it's where I wrote this is bad for so many reasons. Because here's the way I looked at it, and then right after that I wrote Stevie has to go. Because these guys have had pretty much a feud for the last few weeks, right?
Right.
But they continue to do traditional wrestling matches. Nothing has escalated as far as their work. You understand?
Yeah. They have
they're still doing arm drags and wrist locks.
Yeah, nothing's intense.
They're fucking each other every single match and whatever, and they're like, this is just like a competition. It just makes no sense to me, and that's why I just said it was so bad for so many reasons. Because when is this going to get personal?
Mm-hmm.
And it's Philadelphia, for Christ's sake. So whatever, man. Fuck. And right after I wrote Stevie has to go, I wrote I've had enough of this. That's the reason why. It's almost just because you just see the same matchups every single week, and they're not getting any better. I'm not saying they're getting worse, but they're not getting any better either.
And that's on my notes. I put I don't mind Tony Stetson. I like Tony. He's not bad. I could do with the Larry Winters, but the Super Ds are just there. You know what I mean? There's nothing. They're just there. There's nothing intriguing about that.
I agree. I think Stetson's probably the most. I hate to use this word, lack of a better word, salvageable. Of the four, but yeah, I think I saw more potential in Stetson than I did pretty much anybody else.
Yeah, ain't saying much.
You say that ain't saying much.
Well, I mean,
you really, if you think about it, the Super Destroyers could. I know, I'm getting into minutia here of shit that really doesn't matter, but you have that gimmick of these two big masked heels with their shit manager. It's not the same thing, but obviously you're going for kind of a demolition kind of thing. And to kind of what you're saying, Chad, you could do much more with that. You could make them more, give them more mystique, give the faces, give the heels more heat instead of, like you said, just they're going out there week after week, just having a basic match. Like they're not in a feud.
They're taking arm drags.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. They're bumping. It's okay to bump, but bump for the right fucking reasons, for Christ's sake, Doug, the one Super D is Doug Stahl, a guy that I know. They're doing a tackle, drop down, step over, hip toss or whatever. You shouldn't be bumping for Larry Winters in the first fucking 8 seconds. Just stop. It doesn't work that way, But yeah, but I don't think nobody in that territory who was a local guy. Plus, it was a different time, man, and that's why I feel bad about beating these guys up, because it was a different time. There wasn't a ton of indie guys that were big names that could teach people how to do shit. So it was kind of learn on your own, or you're learning secondhand from somebody who was a kind of star.
Right. You're in the ring with a guy like Snooker and Muraco who doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, you're not going to learn nothing. You're not going to learn nothing working with them guys, and it's sad. Like I said, it's as great of an honor as it was to wrestle Jimmy Snuka. For me, it was the worst match of my career. It was just so sad for me because I was so disappointed. That's it. You know what I mean? Yeah, that really, that's it.
And that match is on one of these shows, right? Coming up, like it's actually on one of the shows.
Oh yeah. It's on
Okay. Well, I was going to say if you wanted to elaborate on it, but I guess we'll wait till then. I know last time the one time you were on We Can't Wrestle, you were elaborating on it, and that's when my computer crashed, so you didn't get to finish the story. So that's a cliffhanger for everybody for when that.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah. All right. So now, anything else on this shit? I mean, we had the fuck finish, with the foreign object, or the foreign object you didn't see. I don't even know if it existed, but an apparent foreign object finish here. And then Sal Balomo cut a promo,
and it was stupid.
I wrote, what? I have no idea. What the fuck is he talking about? What is going? It's what you got, but it's what I'm a got, and you gonna give it me. And he was like fucking Chico Marx here. Like,
Ultimate Warrior would have been like, what the fuck did that guy just say?
Sal Balomo's like, get a Tootsie Fruitsie. Get a Tootsie
Ultimate Warrior would have been like, that guy's fucking off the rails, man.
As soon as he started talking, I just yelled out like, "Oh my God, Sal Palomo!" And then and the more he started talking, I'm going, "Wow, this is like a pre-tape promo, so that they're going to give him some time, and this might not even be the first take." And then I heard this can't be good, right?
And imagine what the other ones were like.
Yeah, imagine what they had to go through to pick that one, and I literally, it amazes me that I can't believe that they couldn't figure out a better way to use Sal Balomo. Like, he was way underbooked in ECW, and I don't know his whole entire personal story, whatever. I don't know anything about his personal story, but I was just thinking, like, for somebody who lives local like that, who has a relatively name, why couldn't he be used better? Like, he was just like, maybe he just didn't give a shit. I have no idea.
Well, and with that look at that point, with the look that he had, and I mean, you guys may think I'm completely out of my league here saying this, but with the look, at least, you could have done. Would it have been good? I don't know, but you could have done like a crazy Pampiro Firpo or Bruiser Brody or something like that. I mean, I'm not saying it works, but you're at the Cabrini College.
Just the wild man.
Fucking throw it against the wall. Yeah, throw it against the wall and see if it works instead of this goofy shit.
just imagine. I mean, because honestly, there's no story that I know of when Sal Balomo went crazy, honestly, because that was Sal Balomo, that guy was goofy, so when he wrestled for the WWF, when he came in, I believed what I saw on television, I guess, that he was just this nice guy, and I guess years and years and years of being, underappreciated in the wrestling business, he just went crazy. Well, that would be his gimmick. If you were allowed to show, like, I guess you couldn't show WWF footage, but if you could find some sort of like independent footage or wherever he worked, and you showed him with a clean cut look in the ring doing donkey kicks, you know what I mean? And the knuckles, whatever springboard things, whatever he does. And you show that, and then you just fast forward and show him looking at him now. You'll be like, dude, I get it. Like,
this guy he used to be really cool, and then he went off the rails. Yeah,
he's Retribution. This is Retribution. This is Sal Balomo, and he's right there in Philadelphia, right? He's right there. I don't know. He must not have been really into it. That's what I'm guessing, because I'm assuming Todd loved him, and I think Todd loved him, and that's why he was used as much as he was. And maybe he just didn't even want to be used anymore. I don't know the story, but I thought he was better than what he was booked.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, like I said, I think I think you're right. They missed the ball. They should have. I mean, I don't know a lot about Sal. I mean, to be perfectly honest, all I've ever seen is what I've seen on like old primetime wrestlings or Tuesday Night Titan or whatever. I've never seen anything. I don't even like. Did he wrestle in the late '70s in the WWE? I don't know a lot about him, to be honest.
Not really. No, he just wrestled overseas. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, essentially, you have clay there that you could have molded into something that wasn't this. Well, we have Sal Balomo. We have Sal Balomo against our ECW champion, the Sandman. Aaron,
it's terrible.
You're being too nice, Aaron. You're giving it too much credit.
And Sandman hits one of the weirdest goddamn drop kicks I've ever seen in my entire life. What the fuck was that?
And the way they shot
a rib. He took out a rib.
I don't feel right sometimes knocking professional wrestlers because I'm not a wrestler. I never was going to be. I never could be. I have no athletic bone in my body. But that fucking drop kick was fucking ridiculous.
And the way they shot it made it even more weird.
Yeah, it was. What the fuck was that?
Well, they shot it perfectly. That's the way they shot it. Like no, see, I totally disagree, man. That was one of the greatest drop kicks ever. Because, like I just said, like the one foot broke one of his ribs, and the other foot may have broken his kneecap. It was his feet were just all over the place. It was great.
Damn. It was this whole fucking segment was goddamn garbage. The promo, the drop kick, the fucking finish was stupid.
Peaches
Sal Balomo doesn't know he's getting counted out. He's been wrestling for 20 fucking years, and he doesn't understand he got counted out. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Well, and then that weird, like the weird spot where I put here, why are we doing this pin spot for 35 seconds? Like, what was that? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I mean, he's just like, he's laying on top of him, pinning him, but they're kind of acting like it's a submission hold. And it was really weird. I didn't quite understand what was going on there.
I'm pretty sure I went and put the dishes away at some point during this because I don't have any of this in my notes. So, no, I just probably knew how bad it was going to be. Because it just looked bad for the drop. After the drop kick was probably about when I decided that I got to do my Chad chores, and I got up and I went and put dishes away or something.
This match was a harder chore to get through than any chore you had to do, my friend. I'm just telling you that.
It was a doozy. It was
a doozy.
Throwback. Yeah, but that's it. I put down here about the 30-second pin spot, and then it was a really shitty finish. And like Aaron said, Sal, you've been wrestling how long? And you just leave the ring and go try to shake some guy's hand in the crowd, and then wonder why you got counted out. So apparently they're planting a seed for a Sandman heel turn here, because how would he accept a victory like that from our great analyst Jay Sully?
Yeah, he's a great analyst. I wouldn't even worry about what Sal Balomo's got going on. I would worry about the what the number one contender for the ECW championship, the Rock and Rebels, got going on.
That's what I was going to say. He's coming up next.
Yes, he is. Aaron's man.
He's against one of my favorite guys, and I can't wait to tell you why he's my favorite guy.
But other than obviously Eddie and Terry Funk, who are superstars, Rock and Rebels the highlight of this show. So the highlight of this company so far, in my opinion. Love me some Rock and Rebel.
Honestly, I'll say this about Chuck. For that time, that was 93, and for the body and the size that he had, I really can't believe he didn't get a job in Atlanta. You know, how they had them guys doing them, the weekly job guys, Who knows? I mean, Chuck could have been talent, but remember the Gambler and all them guys.
He's much better than like Larry Santos or whatever.
No, not Mr. Wrestling Larry Santos. No, I disagree, sir.
Well, wasn't this also the time on WCW where they were doing the little challenge thing that like Rob Van Dam came in for and stuff, where they had like the couple of underneath guys fight each other? You know what I'm talking about, guys?
Or the Battle of the Underdogs.
That's the Battle of the Underdogs thing. Rebel probably could have been a part of that. Yeah, and I think it was on
Bill Watts. Bill Watts did it, and after Bill Watts left, they cut it.
That's when Van Dam came in as Robbie V.
If Bill Watts did it, then it had to have been good. I don't remember it, but it had to have been good.
But yeah, they would have a couple of unknown guys fight in like a challenge match or whatever every week, and the next guy gets to wrestle next week or whatever. I don't remember exactly how it was structured, but they probably could have brought Rebel in to be a part of that, Aaron.
Yeah.
No, I disagree. This is nothing against Rebel. I just don't think he was good enough to be in that tier of talent. I think he was a good supporting role.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good guy for Rob Van Dam to showcase against. He's a good guy. You know what I mean? He's a good talent for a guy like, I don't know, Ultimo Dragon to showcase against.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a good guy. He's not a guy that I think has enough talent that you could put, strap the rocket to his back and push him.
So but, he's a George South or a Barry Horowitz.
Well, that's what those underdog matches were, Chad. They were like they take those two guys that like a Larry Santos and just trying to think of a gambler or whatever, and they just let him have a match for like 10 minutes on TV just to showcase the two guys, and the next week they just be back to jobbing again. But it was just a little weird thing that Bill Watts did.
Yeah, I have to go back and watch it. If it's on the network, I'll check it out.
It's on a lot of the Saturday nights that are on there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe I'll watch it tomorrow night then.
Just ignore the music WWE puts on there.
Oh, they really screwed it up?
Well, that the intro and outro music for the show, it isn't the original, and it's like this campy, like local access late night TV show kind of music, like that kind of stuff. Yeah, sometimes they do that though. So Rockin' Rebel cuts a promo here, and Tigra does a thing with her fingernails.
Well, there was a promo first before the match?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rebel cut a little promo.
You must have still been putting them. You must have been drying them glasses.
Yeah, because I literally just wrote Rebel versus Ernesto was great, but I didn't write anything but a promo. Oh my god, I must have missed the Rebel promo. I'm kicking myself in the ass.
And to me, Ernesto Benefacto sounds like a rib name, like a joke name. Like that means something.
He's my favorite human being because he saved my life.
All right, we need to know that story.
He literally saved my life. His name on this show was what? It was Ernesto Benefacto. Okay, well, a couple months down the road, when we get to like later on, I think it's around October, when they brought in Stan Hansen, is when I had first started working there. And I go into the fucking locker room, and then I don't know why, but I looked at the sheet that was on the back of the door, and it said Stan Hansen versus Chad Austin. And I said, "You fucking got to be shitting me!" I was like, "There's fucking no chance. There's no chance this is going to happen. No way. I'm not doing this." And that was a shoot. No, there was no way. And then I went to meet. I went to find Stan, and I said, "Hey, look, I'm the guy that you're. Oh, Jesus, working tonight." I even felt bad saying that. Working tonight, Jesus, working over. And he just said, "Listen, before we go out there, I just want you to know that I can't see what I hit, and I hit what I can't see, or something." Because he was blind, and I went, "Oh, this is fantastic, right? This is unbelievable." And the whole entire time, I was shaking in my boots. And I go back like 20 minutes later, and I go back to the door, and I look, and my name was crossed out, and it said Hervé Benicio, which was Ernesto. His name became Ernesto Benicio. And if you watch on the beginning of the opening, he was the guy who got hogtied to the ring post by Stan Hansen. Like, that was going to be me. Like, literally. And I was like, "You fucking saved my life." And Stan Hansen beat the shit out of this fucking kid. And I'm just like, thank fucking God.
Well, thank you, Ernesto, for all you did for Chad that night.
Thank you. You know what? He never came back.
I bet he did.
Because as he was being beaten on the fucking ring post, his name probably turned into like Ernesto, like fucking defecano, because he's like shitting himself.
Aaron, I totally agree. I think somewhere in there's a rib on his name.
Yeah, Ernesto Benefacto is a fucking rib name. I don't speak no Spanish. I don't read no Spanish, but that's a fucking rib name somehow.
Or even his other name when it was Ernesto Beneficio. Like
there's a joke in there somewhere.
There is a joke somewhere in there. I just don't know
it's above my fucking head, but there's a joke in there.
And Stevie
maybe them guys that do that TV show on Viceland can figure out the story behind that. Like Herveste Beneficio. Who is the guy that Paulie's like a ribbon? Because I knew who the guy Mikey Whipwreck is. I know who the rib on that is.
Really?
That's Mikey Whipwreck is a rib off a local Maryland promoter, Dennis Whipwreck. Like ECW, they needed Dennis's license to run a show somewhere like right on the Maryland line, and Dennis somehow fucked Paul out of money, and we were doing a TV tape, and Mikey was he was there with me. We were all there, and he was going out there, and Paul was like, "What's your name?" And he said, "Mikey something," and then he yelled out, "What's your last name?" And he was trying to find somebody like a jabroni, and Ian Ryden said Whipwreck. As a rib to Dennis, yeah. So that's how he got his name.
I never knew that. Never knew.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't even think Mikey knows it, honestly.
He doesn't know how he got the name. Yeah.
No, I don't. I mean, I'm sure somebody probably told him sooner or later, but I don't think he knew it right along. You know, I don't know that.
He didn't understand why. He knew how he got the name, but he didn't understand why he got the name initially. So this was a decent enhancement match, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the guy like Ernesto, you just beat him up like that, and
Rebel had a hell of a spine buster at the end of it.
Yeah, that was the finish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a good finish. I'll give Rebel that because he didn't go too far. You know, he didn't try to pick him up, and he didn't have to. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just beat the fucking guy. But I wrote like literally like, is this like last week? Because it just seems like it's Rebel. It's doing the same thing every single, the same stuff, man.
Well, he cuts his promo on Sandman when he's already had his shot at Sandman, so he blew that off. But apparently, it's still continuing. I don't know. We've got Tigra involved in this again about 3 times in the show, making her evil claw hand. It's the claw from Tigra. I don't know her story. Don't know anything about her.
Yeah,
she eventually fades away.
Yeah, thank God.
She went back to the pole.
I'm not even sure she knew what her story was. Like she may have just been hanging out there, and somebody said, "Hey, you want to go to the ring with these guys?"
Sure. Can you do a claw? Yes, I can.
Yeah, they saw her nails. I don't know. This was not. Yeah, I mean, like for a squash match, it was pretty good. It was probably I would say it was probably some of the best stuff I've seen Rebel do. Like as far as you can see his true talent, as how smooth he was delivering the moves by killing Hervé Ernesto. And but yeah, other than that, it's it's getting late into the show, and it's like this is what we got. Come on, man.
Well, now we've got a segment with Jay Sully and Todd Gordon at ringside with our friend Mr. Robbins III, and this whole contract situation. Okay, so let me break this down for you, folks. They are going to what our friends Mr. Winters and Mr. Stetson are going to put their hair on the line against the Super Ds if they can get another match. And Hunter Robbins is the worst manager in pro wrestling history because how quickly does he sign this contract? Worst manager ever.
I don't know. What the fuck? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Gilbert's thinking at this point. Like, why are they? I mean, are they just rushing to get this over to get these guys out of here? You know, I don't know. But this was just like, come on, seriously. Yeah, you know,
how does Tommy Cairo fit into it? Like, you're going to be handcuffed to Tommy Cairo. It's like he's had nothing to do with this feud.
I mean, he made it to the semifinals in a TV title tournament.
I know, but he has nothing to do with the Super D's. That's in winter shit. Like, Tommy Cairo's just out of the blue. He's like, oh yeah, you're gonna be handcuffed to this guy. It's like,
fuck. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I've had enough of the Super D's against Stetson and winners, and I could care less if I see what the two Super D's look like or if I see the two bald-headed dudes.
Guys bald, yeah, it's bad. Really
bad. I could care less about either one of them. To tell you the truth. Yeah, it's not good. I mean, but the one thing I was looking forward to was I didn't know if they were gonna drop it, but since it was the last taping of that thing, that we had like a Suicide Blondes promo again.
Yeah,
so that was pretty. I couldn't wait for that because Candido. I was never a huge. I don't know. Like we were friends personally, but we were also kind of enemies personally. And I always thought he was talented. Like really, really talented. And yeah, but I just was like, man, I was just glad to see him get this gimmick started, but I knew that Johnny Hotbody wasn't the right guy. He wasn't the right guy for this. It could have been the right guy for him to get his foot in the door, but I didn't think it was the right guy for him to make this a more successful tag team. I don't know.
They didn't really mesh as a team, in my opinion.
Hotbody's very awkward. Like everything about him to me is just awkward.
Who, Johnny Hotbody?
Yeah, his look and his movements, and I don't know. To me, everything about him is just awkward. I don't know. That's the best word I can use to describe it because I'm not trying to shit on him or anything.
In my world, we would consider him awkward because he hits. He takes like a couple extra steps hitting the ropes. He positions himself in unique, different ways. There's all feeding. You feed to a buckle. You feed to the ropes. He would always feed to an odd spot, and you would and it looked real, but it looked weird. And because you're used to seeing it the way you see it.
And the thing I didn't like was he was like, "I'm going to go by my Christian name, Jonathan Hotbody."
Oh, of course. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Stupid.
Like on his birth certificate, his last name is Hotbody.
Call me by my real name, Jonathan Hotbody. It's ridiculous.
Well, speaking of
at least Candido was taller than somebody. I can say that.
Yeah, but how big was Johnny Hotbody? Jesus Christ!
Yeah, he was like a fucking fire hydrant.
Yeah, like I mean, he had to have bbeen like 240 pounds, but like 5'6".
Felt like a fucking fire hydrant, man.
Fuck yeah, and then it had to be
Jonathan
Jonathan Hydrant. Jonathan Hydrant Body.
That's his Christian. That's his Christian name, Jonathan
Hydrant Body.
Watch me explode in the ring.
It had to be hard to bump like that, man. I mean, that's a lot of weight to have to for somebody that. I mean, this is not like I'm not goofing on the guy. It's a shoot. Like it has to be a lot of weight to get up from when you're taking bumps like that.
I'm not even saying I don't even think Jonathan Hotbody was bad, or I'm not knocking his work or anything, but I just the team didn't work for me. These two guys to me didn't look like they would belong together. You know what I mean? Like realistically, I don't think these guys would be friends.
Yeah. In my opinion, I don't think Hot Body worked up to Candido.
Yeah.
I think Candido was clearly was designed to be the star, and if you want to attach yourself to that star, you have to work up to that star,
Right.
and be as good as him. And Johnny Hotbody was just a step below. Who's to say it couldn't, if in a few months, years, whatever, it couldn't have happened. It could have, but at this point, no, you're right. It was just not the best pairing. But I mean, what else were we going to do? I mean, I don't know. Fuck.
You have to use.
I could have swore Christopher Michaels was in that.
I think he was later.
Oh, so it may have happened.
Yeah.
Oh,
Chris Michaels winds up in this team. You mean?
I think so.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I think you're right. I think they wind up being a 3-man kind of thing or something, or Candido leaves, or I don't know. I don't know exactly what the whole deal is, but we'll find out, won't we, in future episodes?
That's why we do this.
I put down that the Hot Body Cairo main event of this show was clumsy, to say the least. And I like Tommy Cairo, but I think this was clumsy. It just looked.
But at least they're trying to blow off something that they started. At least
true.
With Cairo and Hot Body.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to.
I mean, obviously, Cairo's got to move along to be the guy that's handcuffed to Hunter Q. Robbins, so he has more important things to do.
Yeah, he's got to worry about that thing.
I mean, we can't have continuity. We can't have continuity in our main event angles, but we better have continuity in the Johnny Hot Body Tommy Cairo classic feud.
Yeah,
priorities, man.
That's true, man. I just wanted to know, did Tommy Cairo ride his bike in his wrestling gear like that when he got there? Because how many times has he wrestled in the last 5 weeks? I don't know, 5 times?
Yeah. And he never had that outfit on?
So he takes his outfit off and he wrestles and he goes back into the locker room, and then he has to come back out again at Cabrini College, and he has to put on his biker gear again. Like, did he just wear that from where he lives? He wore the chaps and the vest and his wrestling gear. What the fuck? He wore it so much that why don't you just keep it on?
I'm just gonna wear this. This is my outfit today.
Yeah, because I got to wrestle 5 more times. Well, so this is we're approaching the end. Did you say it's the end of Cabrini College?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, because they say the TV taping is it might not be. It might not be, because I think the crawl on the bottom said the TV taping is May 14th, and this show aired on the 4th. I'd have to go back and look, because if so, that means we have at least 2 more shows out of this.
God
taping.
damn it!
There's no chance. There's no chance.
God damn you! No, God damn you!
Unless honestly,
damn you to hell, Nate.
Unless you take into consideration the Paulie factor, because remember how Paulie used to shoot them vignettes when he had that fake door that had like people's names on it? Well, they were all post-produced at the TV studio.
Right?
You might be right. We might have 1 or 2 of them shows coming up where there's Paulie vignettes mixed in with the rest of the program, kind of thing. I mean, but please help me. Don't be at Cabrini College anymore, and I hope nobody ever runs Cabrini College anymore.
I have a feeling Cabrini College has been like defunded and is no longer a school.
It's not accredited.
Yeah, it's not a thing anymore.
It's an online school now.
Yeah, it's the Southern New Hampshire University.
Yeah, it's like that Phoenix College or whatever.
Fuck. Yeah, that's done. I hope.
It's like, give us $20, we'll make you a mechanic.
Yeah.
Learn a trade, son. Learn a trade. So overall, what did we give this show out of our 5-star rating here? I gave it 2 stars.
I'd say 2.
Well, what were the previous shows? Another gunshot. Thanks. What were the last couple shows rated?
I've given the last couple at least a 3 to 3.5. I gave this
really?
one a 2.
You thought this was a step back?
I did, and the reason I say that is because the only things that I really there was stuff that I enjoyed in this show to laugh at or to roll my eyes at or whatever, but the only stuff that I really enjoyed in the show that pleased me as a wrestling fan was probably Terry Funk's promo and probably the Rock and Rebel match. Other than that, I thought the show was clumsy. It was poorly edited. There wasn't a lot of great promos. I mean, that Belomo thing was a fucking nightmare. Hunter's a nightmare. I didn't like this show very much.
Hunter's a nightmare. Right.
Or a train wreck, one of the two.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna go against both you guys. I'm gonna give it a You said you both said 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say it was probably 2.5.
Well, you gave it a little more credit.
Because I like some of the promos.
I liked the promos. The matches were, like we were talking about earlier, the promos were great, but the matches were just.
Yeah, and I also agree the editing was all fucked up. It was all over the place. I agree about that, but yeah, I mean,
the guy that edited this show was like, Jesus fucking Christ, how many more weeks from this fucking show do I have to put into? Do I have to make into an hour of TV?
He graduated from Cabrini College while he was putting the fucking TV shows together. Fuck. Yeah, I mean, I would say it was slightly better than the previous shows. Just don't get me wrong. I'm not really saying it was fantastic or anything, but you know what I mean. I thought it was good because I like the promos and I like the direction they were going.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were going to something, and you can see that there's a direction about to change somewhere the next couple months.
And I said something earlier when Chad and I were talking. I don't know if it makes sense, but I think that some of the creative direction of the show was over reaching the talent that was trying to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're booking for a higher quality of talent than you have.
They've been doing that since week 1.
I think it really showed on this broadcast, in my opinion.
All right, take this. Remember when the Rebel broke the Sandman's surfboard over his head?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, just say, what if you would have had Terry Funk and Jerry Lawler doing that? Wouldn't it have looked a whole lot better?
Yeah.
Just the way they've been set up.
Terry Funk also wouldn't have tried to ride the surfboard into the ring.
You don't know Terry Funk. I mean, yeah. No, I mean, do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Just the whole entire presentation, the way the whole entire thing, yeah. You're expecting a whole lot of guys that only have, X amount of, of talent. So, yeah, mm-hmm. I understand.
So, and next week, as I always do, we will, unless you guys had anything else on this show, I'll preview next week's episode. The description on the WWE Network is going to be, obviously, it's May 11th, 1993. While Terry Funk prepares for his confrontation with Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, the merger of Hot Stuff International and Paulie Dangerously's Dangerous Alliance spells trouble for ECW President Todd Gordon. The Rock and Rebel and Tigra face Miss Peaches and ECW champion the Sandman in a mixed tag team match. All this and much more on next week's edition of ECW.
Oh, I hope the much more is better than what you just said.
It should be All this and much less on the next ECW.
Well, I mean, we have our amazing title versus hair match coming up next week with Tommy Cairo involved for no apparent reason whatsoever.
No reason whatsoever.
All right, guys. Any parting words before I get to my shameless plugs at the end of the show? It was another good show here for the 2300 pod. I'm dyslexic, I guess, tonight.
I just say I think we're starting to hit a turn here. I don't know how big of a turn it is or how significant it is, but
well, I mean, looking at the matches for next week, one of them is Canadian Wolfman versus Wildman Belomo, so that'll be fun.
Well, there we go. Like I said, I don't know how big of a turn it is, but I think we're
get some dishes ready, Chad.
Or what street it's turning down, but it's turning nonetheless.
Swanson and Rittner.
Turn down Sad Street in Atlanta, GA.
But everybody, I want to remind you to, if you have not, follow Chad on Twitter. Chad, what is your Twitter handle, sir?
My Twitter handle, I haven't changed it yet, so it's my original one. It's Chad Hoover Demera. And on Facebook, I have my real name is Chad Austin Demera.
So there you go. Follow Chad on Facebook and on Twitter. Aaron, of course, has his own Facebook group, Trading Chops, which is a funny ass group, guys. If you want to go join that,
growing.
And of course, the We Can't Wrestle podcast, the We Can't Wrestle podcast group. Aaron actually has a tournament going on in the group right now, a tag team tournament. Okay. You can come into our group and win free things. You can watch Archie Mitchell and Kyle Army do 60 minutes or less on Sunday or Monday night talking about the modern product. Plus, of course, the We Can't Wrestle podcast, which is my pride and joy, along with this one that we do every single week, talking about various topics. As of like next week, our topic is going to be, we're going to review WWE Judgment Day 2002. And coming up soon, we are all going to do our top 10 favorite, what we think are the top 10 pro wrestlers of all time. Not necessarily our favorite, but bell to bell in the ring. Even if he's not my favorite, who do I think is the greatest pro wrestler?
And I'd like to say this. The top 10 pro wrestlers of all time. Chad, you want to join on that one?
Oh, I'd love to do a round table on that.
All right.
Okay. Cool. Well, guys, unless you have anything else, we'll sign off for this week's edition of the 2300 pod.
I'm good, man.
Well, I want to thank my co-hosts for being here with me again, and we will see you next week as we will review the edition of ECW from May 11th, 1993, as we continue our trek to get to those golden years of ECW. Right now, we're kind of in the bronze or silver years.
We're in the
Tupperware years.
Tupperware years.
Yeah. We're still in the digging years.
This is the Tupperware that got like spaghetti put in it. You know,
you'll never get that out.
It's all stained and bumpy and shit. You can't do anything.
But we all know it gets better.
Scrub.
Yes, and not that it's not fun.
Still there.
It's not that it's not fun talking to you guys about these shows. I have a blast every week, and I hope the listeners are too. The listenership is showing that we are growing. And that being said, we will see you next week. Thank you for joining us once again on the 2300 pod. And everyone have a great week. We'll see you next time.